Good day. This video will show you how I repaired the roller wheels on my Total Gym 1000. It is quite common for these wheels to break down. Either the edge of the wheel breaks off, or sometimes, in this case, the whole wheel itself disintegrates. The repair I've come up with is quite easy to do and very cheap, actually under $1. So I'm now going to show you exactly what I did to construct this repaired wheel for the Total Gym 1000. The first thing you're going to have to do is remove the actual roller assembly itself. This is very easy. Just two 13mm wrenches, and unloosen the lock nut, pull out the shaft, and the wheel itself comes apart very easily. Once you have removed the roller wheel from the Total Gym itself, you must now separate the inner part of the bearing with an outer shell. In the case of this roller, it disintegrated itself, so it's very easy to pull it apart. And you can see there's a outer plastic shell and an inner shell which encases the bearing. What I did is I took a hacksaw and very carefully cut into the outer shell. This is tricky. You must be careful that you don't cut far enough down that you start cutting into the inner shell where the bearings are. So you cut in down about 1/8 of an inch. I take a screwdriver, give it a little twist, and in this case, as you can see, it just separates from the bearing itself. So that's the first thing you have to do, separate the inner bearing from the outer shell. That's probably the trickiest part of this whole repair. Be careful, like I say, you don't go too far. And as you can see, I made 2 slits, took a screwdriver, twisted it, and was able to separate the outer shell from the bearing. Okay, we have separated the inner bearing from the outer shell. We need one more thing, and that is this little item here, which you can pick up at any Home Depot or hardware store. This is called a 1-inch box adapter. You will find it in the electrical section by the plastic conduit. It's a PVC piece for adapting a 1-inch a conduit into, I believe, a splitter box. It's called a 1-inch box adapter, or a Carlon Schedule 40 PVC box adapter. This little adapter has a nice edge on it, like the original wheel assembly of the Total Gym, and your inner bearing will fit nicely into the box adapter itself, giving you a nice brand new wheel for your Total Gym. One thing you will have to do, however, before you place it into the adapter, is there's a small protruding edge in the middle of the assembly. You'll have to take either a file, some sandpaper, or perhaps even a X-Acto knife very carefully, and take that edge off. It comes off very easily. It's just a small, I don't know if you can see it, very small 1/32 edge. You take that off so it's pretty well straight across, and it fits nicely into your box adapter from Home Depot or whatever hardware store. In order to get the bearing to stay in the PVC adapter, I use just a little bit of, this is epoxy resin. This is actually plastic bonder. Any good glue will work. Any epoxy resin will work quite well. But before you do that, what I did to make sure that it would stick well was I took some sandpaper, roughed up the inside of the PVC adapter, roughed up a little bit on the outside. I applied my glue. You insert your bearing, and one thing that you're going to have to do and make sure is that the bearing sticks out just a little ways from your edge there. If you have it in too far, it's going to rub against the wall of your total gym. So you have to get it sticking out. You can see the black portion here. Make sure it's out just about a 32nd of an inch. You don't want it too far because you're going to run into other problems. But just make it stick out about, I'd say about a 32nd of an inch. Center it and let the glue dry, and you will have a brand new roller assembly for your Total Gym 1000. So we have reinstalled all the repaired rollers, and we're ready to try it out now, see how it works.